one of the month. And so at this time, council, I am calling the meeting to order and would love to call on Pastor Keith Badowski from Edward United Methodist Church to lead us with the invocation. And after that, we will ask Councilman Bailey to lead us with the pledge. And I hope everyone can see the flag over my shoulder. And we will proceed with that order. Pastor Badowski.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Let's pray together. Let's pray. Lord God, Father, we just thank you, Lord, for this day. It's a new day that you've created. And as Mayor Eddie just said, we have an opportunity in this day. We have an opportunity in this day to serve you and to serve each other, to share your love with others, to share your light with others. Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for life itself, for the breath in our lungs, for the opportunity to enjoy relationship with you, for the opportunity to enjoy participating in our community. Lord, please foster relationships between us. Please bring community, relationship, and unity to this city council and to our city as a whole, Lord. We just pray, God, that you'd work through us, that you'd work in us, and that you'd work in spite of us, Lord. That you would make great use of this time together, and that, Lord, we would sense your presence among us. We just thank you, Father, for your love, your grace. We thank you, Lord Jesus, for your sacrifice. And we pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. And we can stand and face the flag, and I'm trusting everyone can see it. Councilman Bailey.
Everyone, please, attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you so much, Pastor Kadowski. You're welcome to stay on. Thank you, Councilman Bailey, for leading us with the pledge.
My pleasure.
At this time, Council, as we always do, as we've started the presentation for employees service recognition, which is one of the highlights. So at this time, I'd like to call on our HR Director, Stephanie Chastain, and our City Manager, Wallace Hunt. Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Mayor. This is a highlight for us. All too often, little things go unnoticed, but we don't want that to be the case. And so when employees reach these milestones with their employment anniversaries, we want to take the time to thank them for the service and dedication that they put in each and every day to serve our city and serve our citizens. So these were the service anniversaries that we had from January. So we'll get started with our fire department. We have Captain Joshua Carter, who has reached his 15 years of employment. So I see him on here. So congratulations, Captain Carter. If you want to say a few words, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, just real thankful. I think I can speak for a lot of us. Don't really look for the recognition, but appreciate y'all taking the time to acknowledge it. Really just been blessed to, really work for the Father up there and get paid for it. Not many people can say that, but yeah, just surrounded by a good group of guys at the fire department, great leadership, makes things a lot easier. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So much.
Thank you, sir.
It's down here for you now. It's half of the wind sprints are done, over half. So yeah. Trust that you keep
problem is not getting younger, so the wind sprint's gonna get harder.
Yeah, I would attest to that, but you're there now. Thank you so much for what you've done and for your service.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Captain Carter. Thank you.
All right, with our police department, we have Daniel Maddox, who reached his 5-year employment anniversary. So I believe he's on Mr. Harrison's laptop. So Mr. Maddox, if you'd like to say a few words, we welcome you to do so.
Let's see.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I came to work here little over 5 years ago, and came in as part-time. Thought it was gonna be a part-time job, but I began to like it. When the full-time came on, I took it, and I'm very much enjoying it. Look forward to working a few more years before I retire again for my second time. Thank you.
Well, good for you.
All
Well,
right.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay.
And also with our police department, we have Corporal William Clanton, who reached his 25-year employment anniversary. So I believe he's on Captain Stodinger's laptop. So congratulations, Corporal Clanton. And if you'd like to say a few words, we welcome you to do so.
Oh, you on mute? Can you unmute it? We can't hear you. There you go. Well, we still can't hear you. It's on mute now. Can you unmute it? I don't.
Yeah, it looks.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
I'm
Well-
showing that he's unmuted. I don't know why we can't hear him.
Well, Stephanie, go to the next one, and hopefully once he gets it back up, we can come back
Yeah.
to him.
If he wants to step to Chief Kennedy's office, there may be an issue. I wonder with the microphone on Captain Stodinger's laptop, or maybe the connection or something. It looks like it might be frozen. So.
Could you step to Chief Kennedy's office per Stephanie?
Yeah.
And it's some type of technical difficulty.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I wish that could have been put on mute.
Bless you.
Came
Well-
from Nelly.
While
You just
he's,
muted the wall.
while he's headed to Chief Kennedy's office, we'll go ahead and recognize Sergeant James Langley, Andy Langley with the police department. He had his 25-year employment anniversary, but he is unable to attend with us today, but we do want to recognize him as well.
25 years.
Congratulations. That's a milestone.
Is
Randy?
Chief has he made it to Chief Kennedy's office?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay,
Can you hear me
go
now?
ahead. Yes, sir. We
Alright.
can.
It's it's a great day today, I guess, you know. I want to thank you, Mayor Lowe, and the rest of the city council for taking the time to honor this moment for me. It's been a pleasure, a great learning experience for me. And so I'm prepared to move on to the next phase of my life. And I want to appreciate your assistance and your support that you've been giving us for, at least for me, for the last 25 years.
Well, thank you for staying in it that long.
Oh, yes,
we
sir.
certainly appreciate it. And, you know, the greatest way to get ahead is to serve others. And you've done that. And it sounds like you preparing to retire.
Yes, sir.
Good for you, and may Godspeed continue to be with you. And we just thank you for what you've done for these past 25 years.
Thank you so much, sir.
But
Congratulations, Clayton.
All right, ma'am.
Congratulations.
so
to you,
much.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that will wrap up the recognitions that we have for today. And we thank all of these employees for everything they've done for our city and the hard work that they put in every day.
Thank you all so very much. At this time, I'd like to proceed on. I'd like to call on the clerk for the reading of a proclamation recognizing Rakeem Nunez Roaches. Melanie?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama would like to acknowledge the accomplishments of Phenix City's own Rakeem Nunez Roaches. And whereas Rakeem Nunez Roaches graduated from Central High School in 2011, in his high school football career, he was noted for 132 tackles, 17 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. He was rated as a 3-star defensive lineman by ESPN and selected second team All-Area by the Opelika Auburn News. And whereas Rakeem Nunez Roaches committed to the University of Southern Mississippi in 2011, his accomplishments at Southern Mississippi included being named to the Conference USA All-Freshman team, 37 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble in his sophomore year, and 63 tackles, 4 sacks, and 1 forced fumble in his redshirted junior year. And whereas Raheem Nunez Roches was selected on the 6th round of the 2015 NFL Draft to the Kansas City Chiefs. He was the first Brazilian-born player ever drafted in the NFL. He played with the Chiefs until May 28, 2018, and signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in October 2018. And whereas it is fitting that recognition be given to Raheem Nunez Roches for his outstanding performance in the 2021 NFL Super Bowl, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the Kansas City Chiefs for the championship. The Buccaneers are the first team ever to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium. Now, therefore, I, Eddie Lowe, as mayor of the city of Phenix City, Alabama, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby congratulate Raheem Nunez Roches of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 56 defensive tackle, on his achievements, and do hereby proclaim this the 17th day of February 2021 as a day to honor Raheem Nunez Roches in the city of Phenix City, and request that all privileges, considerations, and congratulations are shown to him on this his day.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Is any of his family member or is Raheem here on Zoom? Well, again, on behalf of the council, we would like to say congratulations. I tell you, being able to play in the Super Bowl is something that a lot of people don't get a chance to do. And of course, that is the milestone that all NFL players shoot for. And there's some who has played 15, 12 years and have never gotten there. So we just want to thank him for representing Phenix City. And I do know that Arthur Sumner Jr. came down and picked up the proclamation. So we're trusting that he will relay it to Raheem and his family. But congratulations again to him. An outstanding job. Thank you so much. Proceeding on now, the city clerk, council. At this time, approval for the call minute meetings for the January 28, 2021 state of the city. We were all there. At this time, I'd like to call for a motion for the approval of the state of the city address dated on January 28, 2021. May I have a motion to approve that call meeting, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion by Mr. Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Gordon. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lowe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, council, at this time, want to call for a motion for the approval of the regular scheduled meeting minutes for the February the 1st work session, as well as February the 2nd meeting, council meeting. So we were all there, and if it's the pleasure of the council, I'd like to ask for a motion, and we can all have this in one setting if that's the pleasure of the council.
Yeah.
So with that said, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the February the 1st work session as well as February the 2nd council meeting. May I have a motion to approve? Motion, Mr. Gordon?
Yes.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Bailey. Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lowe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on, council, on the city council. At this time, I would like to ask the council, are there any unfinished business that needs to be discussed? Okay, saying that there's not any, we will proceed with the resolutions. And under administration, the first one is a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to enter into an agreement with Building and Earth Sciences Incorporation to perform construction materials testing and special inspection services for the addition to the public safety building project in an amount not to exceed $15,100. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phoenix City Engineering Department has requested a proposal from Building and Earth Sciences Incorporated to perform construction materials testing and special inspection services for the addition to the public safety building project. And whereas Building and Earth Sciences Incorporated has proposed to provide these services for a fee of $15,100. And whereas these services will include soil testing and observation services, concrete inspection and testing, masonry inspection and testing, structural steel inspection and laboratory testing. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize the mayor and city manager to enter into an agreement with Building and Earth Sciences Incorporated to provide construction materials testing and special inspection services for the addition to the public safety building project, passed, approved, and adopted this 17th day of February, 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee.
Yes.
Council, we have heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve that resolution. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion, Mr. Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Bailey. Comments or discussion, council?
Mayor, if I could ask just one thing, I know we discussed this yesterday, but maybe Angela or someone can explain to me exactly. This appears that they kind of oversee different stages of this during the entire construction time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. This is the original testing company that we had hired to do our soil borings and our geotech work prior to the design. So they're going to come back in and do that soil testing, but also do some additional testing for us, like concrete, and look at the steel and just do some other construction inspection services for us throughout the project.
Right. So this is just not a pre-construction thing. This will be basically during the 15, 18, 20, 24 months of how long it takes to do it. Certain stages, they'll come in at certain times and do what they've been hired to do.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Thank you. That cleared that up. I kind of thought it was that way, but I just wanted to make sure, and I meant to ask that yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Angela. Now I understand it. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or discussion? If not, council, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo,
Yes. Thank you. Proceeding on, council, we have a resolution in reference to authorizing Alabama Power Company to install 4 APCO leased LED fixtures in 4 floods, 14,500 to 23,000 lumens range located at the 1507 5th Street South Police Precinct. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the city will authorize Alabama Power to install the following lights and pay the monthly electric service to Alabama Power Company for the following lights located at the 1507 5th Street South Police Precinct. Install 4 APCO leased LED fixtures. Install 4 floods, 14,500 to 23,000 lumen range. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to sign the lease agreement. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Lee.
Yes,
Council, we've heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Gordon. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Day. Comments or discussion? Okay, not any. Mrs. Lee?
yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, council, there's a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and city manager to renew the contract bid number E20-01 hot mix asphalt paving and roadway improvements at the 2021 contract unit prices to February 28, 2022. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas in previously adopted resolution number 2020-97, Robinson Paving was awarded the contract for bid number E20-01 hot mix asphalt paving and roadway improvements. And whereas according to the general specifications of bid number E20-01, It states that the bid may be extended or renewed with the consent of both parties. And whereas the hot mix asphalt paving and roadway improvements contract expires on February the 28th, 2021. And whereas Robinson Paving has requested that the city renew the contract for bid number E20-01, hot mix asphalt paving and roadway improvements at the 2021 contract unit prices to February the 28th, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the mayor and city manager are hereby authorized and directed to renew the contract for bid number E20-01, hot mix asphalt paving and roadway improvements at the current contract unit prices to February the 28th, 2022. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Thank you so much. Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have the motion in the second. Any comments or discussion, council?
Hey, let me ask this question to Angel. When are they supposed to get started on this project? Are they waiting for a certain temperature later on till they get a little bit warm? Because I know they can't pave until a certain temperature.
Yes, sir, Mr. Day. This is our annual maintenance roadway bid. So we send out notice to proceed out throughout the year. But right now, as you stated, it is too cold to do any asphalt work. So they won't begin any projects until we give them a notice to proceed closer into the spring.
Okay, thanks.
And Miss Angel, this is pretty much for those large jobs or projects that we have in the works. But it's not for those small projects. We don't utilize them for the small projects like the potholes in the road. We do some of that in-house. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. These would be the larger projects that we just don't have the capacity at Public Works to do, and we don't have the equipment. And of course, it's, when you talk about resurfacing an entire street, that's more specialized. So we just do the regular maintenance work in-house, but contract the large projects out.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all. If there's not any other comments or questions at this time, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on. Council, we have a resolution in reference to renewing the tax structures of the city of Phenix City, Alabama for the tax year beginning October the 1st, 2021. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama has reviewed the tax structure of the City of Phenix City, Alabama and deems it advisable and or necessary to adopt a resolution in connection herewith. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that a tax be and the same is hereby levied on the property situated in Phenix City, Alabama for the next succeeding tax year at the rate not in excess of the constitutional limits which may be levied on such property, as the same is assessed for taxation on the books of assessment for the state and county tax year ending the 30th day of September next succeeding the levy. The taxes to be levied for the succeeding tax year commencing on the 1st of October 2021 shall be 7 mills for bond payments, 5 mills for general operating expenses, 3 mills for school tax, and an additional 4 mills for school tax. Be it further resolved that the homestead exemption as approved in ordinance number 96-14 adopted on the 18th day of July 1996 does hereby apply to the taxes as levied above. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we've heard the resolution. May I ask for a motion at this time for approval, please? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Gordon. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Any comments or discussion? Okay. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, council, as we proceed on, we have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to enter into a contract with Madison Bloomberg Capital Ventures LLC for the sale of residential property located at 307 11th Avenue in an amount not to exceed $4,000. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City Council of the City of Phoenix City is committed to the economic growth and development of the city. And whereas the City of Phoenix City has residential property for sale located at 307 11th Avenue. And whereas the city has received an offer to purchase this property for $4,000 from Madison Bloomberg Capital Ventures LLC. And whereas the city accepts the offer and agrees to sell the property for the above referenced price of $4,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama does hereby accept the offer from Madison Bloomberg Capital Ventures LLC for the purchase of residential property located at 307 11th Avenue in the amount of $4,000 as outlined above, and does hereby authorize the mayor and city manager to sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of said property. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February 2021.
Thank you so very much. Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion for approval, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion, Mr. Day, and Councilwoman Johnson, was that you?
Yes, second.
Okay. We have that, Mrs. Lee. We have the motion by Councilman Day and the second by Councilwoman Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any comments, questions, or discussion? Okay, not, call for the vote, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Proceeding on, council, we have a resolution in reference to directing the mayor and the city manager to enter into a contract with Scenic Properties LLC for lobbyist services in an amount not to exceed $8,750 annually. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phoenix City, Alabama has a need for lobbyist services with the Alabama State Legislature. And whereas the city wishes to renew the contract with Scenic Properties LLC, J.W. Brannon, sole proprietor, for lobbyist services for a fee not to exceed $8,750 annually. And whereas the city wishes to continue to engage Mr. Brannon for lobbyist services for a period of 1 year. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama hereby agrees to continue to contract with Mr. Brannon for lobbyist services and directs the mayor and city manager to sign the contract in an amount not to exceed $8,750 annually. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February 2021.
Okay, council, we've heard the resolution. May I ask for a motion for approval, please? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion, Councilwoman Johnson. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordy. We have the motion in the second. Council, are there any comments or discussion? Okay, if not, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Next, council, is a resolution in reference to opposing House Bill 366. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. A resolution opposing the passage of House Bill 366 by the Alabama legislature. Whereas House Bill 366 is currently sponsored by Representative Sorrell during the 2021 regular session of the Alabama legislature currently convened. And whereas House Bill 366 prohibits the use of automated traffic enforcement systems and would repeal all local laws authorizing the use of automated traffic enforcement for red light or speeding violations. And whereas the proposed legislation would negatively affect the city of Phoenix City. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama does submit to the Alabama legislature its official statement of opposition to the passage of House Bill 366 and any other similar legislation. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion, Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. Any comments or discussion?
If I may, Mayor, I'd just like to make a comment, go on record. We discussed this yesterday, and I know these red light cameras and things of that nature are not popular with a lot of the population, a lot of the citizens in different cities, not just our city. But I would like for everyone to know that these things, in my opinion, are not a revenue agent, as some people think that they are. They do bring in revenue, but they are absolutely what we discussed yesterday in our work session. They are a safety factor for our town. They're a safety factor to slow people down at intersections that have in the past been extremely, extremely dangerous. I only wish we could put more up in different other locations to slow people down, to keep some of these traffic fatalities from happening. One of our citizens not long ago lost his wife right out in front of IHOP because of people speeding, trying to get somewhere 5 minutes quicker than they need to get there. It's a terrible situation. Police just cannot be everywhere all at once, cannot stop everything from happening in our town. And these do make people mindful of certain areas, certain intersections that, in my opinion, over the last 10 to 12 years, I've seen them slow down. I'm not seeing the numbers of accidents in those intersections any longer. And I just see that they're a benefit to our city as far as the safety for our citizens. Mm-hmm. And I wish everybody would understand it from that point of view, because absolutely that is the way it's intended. And I just want to go on record saying that. I know it'll be, not liked by some people, but this is not a revenue agent. If it was a revenue agent, we could hire more police officers and just give them ticket books and put them out there, but that's not the purpose of the police department. So everybody is serving to make our community safer, not trying to make our community harder to live in. And I just wanted to say that and go on record.
Thank you, Councilman Bailey. Okay, any other comments, discussion? If not, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on, council. Next is a resolution in reference to opposing Senate Bill SB Senate Bill 107. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. A resolution opposing the passage of Senate Bill 107 by the Alabama legislature. Whereas Senate Bill 107 is currently sponsored by Senator Elliott during the 2021 regular session of the Alabama legislature currently convened. And whereas Senate Bill 107 would affect the police jurisdiction and eliminate the planning jurisdiction. And whereas the proposed legislation would be detrimental to the city of Phenix City. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does submit to the Alabama legislature its official statement of opposition to the passage of Senate Bill 107 and any other similar legislation. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lee. Council, we've all heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, Councilman Day, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. Comments or discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I understood what was read, but can our chief of police elaborate on that for the citizens of Phenix City?
Yes, sir. Yeah, good morning. How are y'all?
Good morning.
This bill is designed to limit the ability of the city to protect its resources and public safety. It takes away our ability to manage growth on the outskirts of town. And one of the examples that I didn't give yesterday, but I'll give today, it's an example of if you take away the ability for us to enforce municipal ordinances right on the outskirts of town, what you'll have is, as an example, somebody will call and somebody's shooting fireworks, but it might be just right over the city limit line. Well, that doesn't help protect the value of our community, doesn't help us protect the safety of our community. So we need to have that ability to enforce those regulations beyond the city limits in that 1.5 mile jurisdiction that this bill is scheduled to take away. The other thing it does, it takes away our ability to plan growth for this city, because if this power is taken away, the city's not able to regulate streets and construction of subdivisions and those kinds of things. So when those things are built on the outskirts of town, they limit our ability to annex those properties into the city and limit our growth. So that's the reason why this is a bad bill. And we need to be able to protect our city, protect the infrastructure of our city, and not allow the state legislature to take away that responsibility that we've all been working so hard to try to maintain, to keep our city strong and growing. Nobody wants to live next door to the city limit and have somebody next door do, the kind of things that happen in the county that we can't enforce, like, shooting fireworks off and shooting guns, those kinds of things. We need to have that ability to enforce those regulations within that 1.5 mile buffer zone around the city.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other comments, discussion? Not at this time, like call for the vote. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
And now proceeding on, council, we have a resolution in reference to approving the final settlement of a lawsuit filed by State Farm Fire and Casualty Company, ASO Joseph McCant versus Sean Jermaine Goodwill and the city of Phoenix City et al. Case number 57-SM-2020-900758.00. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama does hereby accept and approve of the final settlement in the matter of a lawsuit filed by State Farm Fire and Casualty Company, ASO, Joseph McCants versus Sean Jermaine Goodwill in the city of Phoenix City, Alabama, case number 57-SM-2000-900758.00 in the amount of $3,500 and does further authorize payment thereof. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion to approve, please? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we do have a motion by Councilman Gordon. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, that's Councilman Day.
Yes.
All right, we have the motion in the second. Comments or discussion? Okay. Not any. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also on the Administration Council, we have a resolution in reference to entering into a contract agreement with Jackson Thornton Utilities Consultants for 2 cost of service rate studies in 2021 and 2024 in an amount not to exceed $60,000. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the city of Phoenix City, Alabama owns a water and sanitary sewer system, which includes the water filtration plant, water distribution, wastewater collection, and the wastewater treatment plant. And whereas the operations of said systems must comply with Environmental Protection Agency and Alabama Department of Environmental Management regulations, which continue to become more stringent. And whereas said systems require continual maintenance and occasional repairs, replacements. And whereas the cost of operation and maintenance of said systems and the cost of complying with federal and state regulations increases each year. And whereas a cost of service rate study for said water and sanitary sewer systems is needed. And whereas the city has received from Jackson Thornton Utilities Consultant a proposal for 2 cost of service rate studies of said systems, the first of which would be performed in 2021 and the second in 2024. And whereas the cost of each Cost of service rate study is $30,000 for a total cost of $60,000, the payments for which are proposed when each study is completed. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize and direct the mayor and city manager to enter into a contract with Jackson Thornton Utilities Consultants for 2 cost of service rate studies in 2021 and 2024 in an amount not to exceed $60,000 to be paid in 2 separate payments of $30,000 when each study is completed. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lee.
Yes.
Council, all of us have heard the reading of this resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilwoman Johnson, and that's a second, Councilman Bailey.
Yes.
Okay, so Mrs. Lee, we have the motion in the second.
Yes, sir.
Any comments or discussion, council?
Can we get someone to elaborate on why we need to do this? We discussed it yesterday. Mr. Hunter explained it to us, but for the citizens and all, to where they can understand why we're doing this.
Go ahead, Charles. Yes, sir, Councilman Bailey. The city, as you just heard, we have infrastructure in our distribution system, collection system, and our plants that we got to constantly do work on to keep it up to par and up to standards with the state and EPA. And in order to do this, we got to have the monies to be able to do this. So this will help us down the road. We're looking at spacing these monies out to where it won't cost the city to go in substantial debt. We want to go ahead and make sure we're taking care of things properly.
Okay.
Yeah, these studies help us keep our utility department up to date with the state and everything. And it, like Mr. Hunter said yesterday, utilities is a business, and we have to stay ahead, proactive, and stay ahead of the curve to where we're doing everything correctly, staying within the law, and also keeping the best utility department that we can actually keep for our citizens. So I understand it and knew that to be what it was. We just want our citizens to understand that that's the need for these studies sometimes, is to, not watch over what we're doing. We're doing it correctly. Just give us another opinion sometimes of ourselves, I would imagine what it does.
Yes, sir. It costs quite a bit of money to treat water so the citizens will have it, to have that clean water to use. And then it costs quite a bit of money to clean that water before we put it back in the river, and costs continue to go up. And so we need to be proactive to meet these costs to where we can continue to provide good services to our citizens.
Exactly. And that's what y'all are doing. And you're doing an outstanding job. We win award after award every year, it seems like. Sometimes we win it so often that we get used to just automatically knowing that we got the best utilities department, in my opinion, in the whole state of Alabama.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. And as he stated, it is a business. But besides that, it's important that we do the right thing from a safe and health reason. And that has to certainly take precedence over any of this, which is this council don't take lightly. And again, it's a cost of doing business. As we all know, you have to be proactive, and that's what we're doing. So, thank you, Mr. Woody.
And basically, Mayor, one thing you gotta make sure we sell water and we treat sewer for the surrounding departments that surround us, Russell County, Smith Station, and Fort Mitchell. So it's a lot that we're involved in. It's not just about us, but it's about our neighbors also, and making sure, by standards, we have to put the water back out there until our river is clean as it was, cleaner than it was when we took it out. So it's a lot of things. We have an aging system that's in place that we have to make sure we keep up and modernize. And with having the studies done and taking care of the things that we are doing to make sure that not only council members and our citizens understand why we're having to do this for this business that we run within this city, it educates us on what we have to do for the future. And that's what we're trying to make sure. And it's something that that's very important to me personally as a city manager also, and Mr. Bailey just hit on that. We need to make sure we have a system that's up to par and that's in place, and that's a award-winning system, no matter who's here, no matter what city manager, no matter what council, no matter what utility director is there. We
Yeah.
need to make sure that our system extends beyond anything that we do. And that's the important part of doing it. I know a lot of time I seem too serious for people when it comes to this job, but if you're not going to do it that way, I'm not going to get along with you. Anybody, that's anybody. Just job is very important, and the things that we do for our citizens are very important. If you do that, you should be able to put your head on the pillow and sleep real good at nighttime. That's what it's about. If you're going to take the citizens' money, that's what we need to be doing. Other than that, sometimes even if I have a different opinion, you have to put that opinion behind you to take care of things that you know is necessary to have a successful department, and in this case, system.
Health and safety, it has to be number one. And that's
Mr.
part of this. Is
Mr.
part.
Hunter.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hunter, I'd like to ask a question. Well, it might be sensitive, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Look, when we have the rate increase here locally for our citizens in Phoenix City, our customers such as Fort Mitchell Water, Russell County, Smith Station, we also do the increase for them as well. Is that right?
It's all of that is built into the contracts that we have to them. They have a notification date, and you have a time period, several months ahead of that for them to be prepared. All that is written in the contracts that we have with any other utility department. Yes, sir.
You said 7 months ahead. They be
I
notified.
said several months. That means
Several months.
that
Okay.
time might be 3 months on some might
Yeah.
be 4 months. Yes, yes, sir.
Sometimes some of those folks that rent property owner, they take advantage of that and they move forward and pass the increase on to the renters. But I don't want to get into that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it depends. Either way, no matter what they do, and some people do it differently in what they're doing as far as if they rental units. Sometimes people, they I don't know, it's difficult the way they pass things on, but at the same time, we have to run a business here, and ours, it's not that we're down there trying to just make profit in the utilities. We're trying to make sure we have enough to sustain the system and pay the people that work for the department. We are not in this thing for a bunch of gain. It's different with our utilities than it is for the gas or Alabama Power. For some reason, we are directly and closer linked to our citizens than those businesses are, because they don't look at them the way they look at us as far as being a taxpayer-driven city. It's different. It's a different look, but it's the same when you put it on paper and you look at the business aspect of it. But it's looked at differently, and that's important. We have to understand that. So
Okay.
the political part get involved.
Well, as the mayor stated a while ago, you have to keep our system growing to keep up with the growth of our community. And at the same time, you have to provide them with the best service possible and the safest service possible. And city utilities is exactly that. It works for the city, where you Alabama Power and Spire and people of that nature work for a lot larger group of people all over the state, maybe all over the Southeast sometimes with different power companies. So, we have to be concerned with the people that live in our community, which is our families, our friends, ourselves. And, the same increases that come up on everybody else comes up on us too. We're not immune from this. When I do this, or if I vote for something of that nature, I'm voting to raise Eddie's, just like Eddie is voting to raise my families and Arthur's family. But we're looking from this from the point of view that you have to look at it from, which is you want to keep the very best people that you can, the very best system that you can. You want to grow it for the future. And all of us, I think I can speak for everybody, want to make sure that when you leave this thing that we're doing as council and mayors and city managers and utility directors, we leave it in better shape than we found it. And the next people will have the same obligation to do that. But this generation has that obligation.
It's also something a lot more important than that, Mr. Bailey, and you've been in business over there all your life, and you'll remember this because whether you was at home or not, you heard this explosion in the 70s. People never should forget this. We once owned our own gas. And we failed to keep things up. You know, the same way that gas blew on Dillingham and blew up for short, and that had a lot to do with maintenance and the upkeep of maintenance, and that's how we end up selling out to, you know, the Alagasco years ago. You know, we had deaths, citizens died in that explosion, and a lot of it was because of a dilapidated system. And this is the key to this: is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that's why we have to look into the future, because the other things, you look all around you from time to time, just keep your eye on the world news where you've had systems, utility systems, or, you know, that hadn't kept themselves up, you know, or water systems. Look at Detroit, look at some of the places all around you, look down in Florida, look at the collapses, the things that we have to do with our infrastructure, whether we're dealing with utilities that's underground, whether you're dealing with the water side, sewer side, or whether we're dealing with storm water that's over in engineering. If we fail to keep those things up, people will own this city. The city will fail. That's a detriment. And so the explanations that we have to give to our citizens in explaining and educating them on these priorities, and that's what they are, they're priorities. You know, we're not here, like I say, and they can look at the books anytime to see whether we're set somewhere building up a lot of funds somewhere and just in this for profit. It's totally different. But like I say, when it comes to maintenance, it's no different than the gas company or the power company. When it comes to that part, they are all in the same.
Exactly. That's well said.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Hunter, I remember a while back, we was talking about replacing the infrastructure, those old water line. We have a lot of those, even someone with those, what you call those pipes, those antique pipes and still in the ground. How are we coming with that project?
We have a certain amount of linear feet that we replace each year as we go throughout the city. We have the projects that we could apply for grants. We try to make sure, and mixing that in with development as we go throughout the city. You know, you got over 100-year system that you're rebuilding throughout the city. It's something else that goes along with that, Mr. Day, that people must understand. And when you're tearing up streets for replacements, people want the street replaced. The cost is astronomical when you're looking at that. So that's why we have to plan successive planning in that to make sure these things are done as we go throughout our city in the different districts of our city and throughout, you know, so that continues every year. And that's why I'm saying that is another thing in utilities that we done years ago. We merged the operations together in the planning of that when we are putting down new asphalt or resurfacing, repaving, whichever way people want to look at it. We look at the infrastructure also first. Sometimes it don't go along with each other, but for the most part, we have to put something in place. If you know you're on an older street in a different area, you have to look underground before you do anything on top of the ground. So you have to have and sometimes you have to make sure you gotta have a system where it's set up where you're making sure utilities have the funding to replace. If you have a line that you take a look at, and historically that line has been patched 11 times over the years, it is time to replace that. So that should be put in place, and making sure that you build a culture within that department with the mentality of knowing what they have to look at street by street to take care of that, and to make sure that engineering is combined with utilities. And that's why it was important to have a utilities engineer that can deal directly with the engineering department as we develop and replace throughout the city. So that has worked well for us, but at the same time, it puts a strain on you, but it's a challenge to make sure you have the funding to replace before you resurface.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everyone. At this time, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And proceeding on, council, on the building department, we have a public hearing and approval of resolutions in reference to the fixing of costs incurred by the city of Phoenix City for removal of substandard structures and the establishment of special assessment upon properties located at 311 South Seal Road, 1114 20th Street, 1015 4th Street South. At this time, council, I would like to declare this as a public hearing. And if there's anyone out there that would like to address this council in reference to the fixing of costs and removal of these substandard structures, now is the time to do so. And I would ask that if there is anyone out there, please call 334-448-2704 at this time. Again, the number is 334-448-2704. If there's anyone that would like to address council in this public hearing. Again, the number is 334-448-2704. I'm turning the phone up. So give them a few minutes. Again, the number is 334-448-2704. If there's anyone that would like to address council in this public hearing, now is the time to do so. All right. Give them 30 more seconds. Okay. Since we have no one that would like to address council in this fixing of costs and removal of substandard structure, I am now declaring this public hearing closed. And at this time, I would like to call upon the clerk to read one master resolution, council. And if it's the pleasure of the council, we would take all these addresses, these locations in one setting, okay? So with that said, we'd like to call upon the clerk for the read one master resolution, and we'll take the vote in one vote. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama was requested by the building official of the city to authorize the demolition and removal of substandard structures at the following locations in Phoenix City: 311 South Seal Road, 1114 20th Street, 1015 4th Street South. And whereas the City Council on the 15th day of September 2020, by resolution number 2020-235, by resolution number 2020-237, and by resolution number 2020-238, approved the apparent low bid to demolish and or remove said substandard structures located on each property listed above. And whereas the city has given notice by certified or registered mail to the person or persons last assessed for ad valorem taxes for each property, and a notice has been published in the Citizen of East Alabama, a local newspaper of general circulation, at least 15 days before this final hearing for the fixing of cost for each property. And whereas after giving all interested parties an opportunity at this public hearing to address council on this, the 17th day of February, on the issue of the fixing of cost in these cases, the City Council believes the fixing of costs have been determined and that they should be assessed against the substandard structures as named above and recorded in the probate office to protect the interest of the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama as follows. 1, that the final cost in the removal of the substandard structures at the following locations are as follows: 311 South Seal Road, $4,400. 1114 20th Street, $3,750. 1015 4th Street South, $3,500. 2, that the city clerk file a certified copy of each resolution with the probate judge of Russell County, Alabama, to establish a special assessment that shall constitute a lien of Phoenix City Alabama, upon each property that shall be collected through the Revenue Commissioner's Office for Russell County, Alabama office. 3, that the legal description for each property is listed on each individual resolution for that particular property as taken from the records of the Revenue Commissioner's Office of Russell County. 4, that the property owners listed below for each property are as shown on the tax records of Russell County, Alabama. 311 South Seal Road, Lockhart Development Company, LLC, 2017 tax sale, 12147 Clubhouse Road, Columbus, Georgia, 31903. 1114 20th Street, State of Alabama, 2019 tax, State Capitol Building, Montgomery, Alabama, 36104. 1015 4th Street South, State of Alabama, 2017 tax, State Capitol Building, Montgomery, Alabama, 36104. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we all have heard the reading of the master resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval, please.
Motion to approve.
All right. Motion, Mr. Day, and that's the second, Councilman Gordy.
Yes.
All right, we have the motion and second. Any comments or discussion? Okay. If not, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, council, on the fire department, we have a resolution in reference to declaring various items of personal property as surplus to be disposed of in the city landfill. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the city of Phoenix City, Alabama Fire and Rescue Services has items of personal property which are no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. And whereas section 114356 of the Alabama Code of 1975 authorizes the municipal governing body to dispose of unneeded personal property. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, that the following items are hereby declared surplus to be disposed of at the landfill. 22 Richland Home Winsley Pillow Top mattresses, 1 Vizio 55-inch television model number M550BSE, serial number LWJSNK BP0704265, and 1 Vizio 55-inch television model number M550BSE, serial number LWJSNKBP0704272. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lee.
Yes.
Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Johnson. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
And proceeding on, council, on the library department, we have a resolution in reference to declaring 1 Roper refrigerator as surplus to be disposed of in the city landfill. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the Phoenix City Russell County Library has 1 item of personal property which is no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. And whereas section 114356 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended authorizes the municipal governing body to dispose of unneeded personal property. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, that 1 Roper refrigerator is hereby declared surplus for disposal in the city landfill. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Okay, council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion, Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey.
Yes.
We have the motion and second. Any comments or discussion? If not, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, council, on the utilities department. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to sign necessary documents with ADEM to renew permit for the water filtration plant in an amount not to exceed $4,595. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the city of Phoenix City, Alabama operates a water filtration plant to provide clean water to customers. And whereas the current Alabama Department of Environmental Management, ADEM, water filtration plant permit expires August the 31st, 2021. And whereas said permit needs to be renewed and received by ADEM no later than March the 4th, 2021. And whereas the cost of said permit is $4,595. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama hereby authorizes the mayor and city manager to execute any documents needed to renew said water filtration plant permit by March the 4th, 2021. Passed, approved, and adopted the 17th day of February, 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee.
Yes.
Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion, Councilman Gordon, and that's the second, Councilman Bailey. Or
I think
who was that? Arthur Day, okay. Motion by Councilman Gordon and a second by Councilman Day. We have that, Ms. Lee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, council, any comments or discussion?
I'd like to ask a question. I notice it says down August the 31st, 2021. Why did we have to get it about March before? Why are we getting it?
Councilman Day, ADEM has to have time to work on this permit. There again, they got to prepare all their paperwork on their end to grant us our new permit. So they need their time to do their due diligence to make sure we have everything in order, and they have everything in order for us.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Thank you, Mr. Woody. Any other comments, discussion? If not, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, council, on the license application, we have a second reading. And before I read this, I do want to apologize if I mispronounced the names of the persons whose names is in this application. So please forgive me, but if I do the best I can, and if I mess your name up, please forgive me. We have a second reading. It's an application for an off-premise beer license and an off-premise wine license submitted by Ramesh Chandra Patel and Dashrath Bahar Patel for Sri Kanna LLC doing business as Snack Attack located at 3764 Opelika Road, Phoenix City, Alabama. Council, we had the first reading on the 2nd of this month. I'm not going to ask the clerk to reread it. However, I would at this time, council, like to ask for a motion for approval. May I have a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve.
Motion, Councilman Day, Councilman Gordon. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Johnson. Councilwoman Johnson, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, we do have a second reading. And again, as I stated earlier, please forgive me if I mispronounced your name. However, the second reading is we have an application for an off-premise beer license and premise whiskey and wine license, retail package store, submitted by Lashandra Patel and Dashrat Behar Patel for Shahjana LLC, doing business as Alabama Spirits and Wine, located at 3764C Opelika Road, Phenix City, Alabama. The first reading, council, as we all know, was held on the 2nd of this month. Will, however, not ask the clerk to reread this. However, I would at this time, council, like to call for a motion to approve. May I have a motion to approve the second reading?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Okay, at this time, council, like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, council, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our attorney, Mr. Jimmy Graham. Mr. Graham?
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, we have one claim on the agenda today. It's a claim that was filed by Carpenter, Ingram, and Mossholder LLP on behalf of Brianna A. Walker. This is a situation like we discussed yesterday where we had an emergency vehicle that went through an intersection that had a red light. Apparently, the driver of the other vehicle, Ms. Walker, did not hear the siren. She had the green light. There was an accident, and you've got the memorandum from Chief Smith recommending that y'all grant me the authority to negotiate a reasonable settlement on this behalf by the city.
Okay.
And that's my recommendation.
Okay, council, we've heard the recommendation from our city attorney. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval of that recommendation. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Gordon. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Johnson. Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir.
Thanks to the council, all the department head. We certainly appreciate it. And at this time, I'd like to ask if there's any city council who would like to have anything they would like to say, add or take away.
Mayor, if I can say something, I know I talk about this each meeting, but again, about the COVID situation in our nation, in the world, of course, mostly in our city, in our community. Please, as these vaccinations, shots come around to your age group, please think about it real hard, pray about it real hard. And if you can, please go out and get them just to where you can be safe yourself and make those around you that can't get the shots right now and may not be able to get the shots for several months along, that maybe you can make them healthier by making yourself healthier. I know we've been in this for about a year now. I know everybody is, I guess, got cabin fever, but try to continue to practice your social distancing, keep the groups limited to smaller numbers when you do get around each other. Wear your mask. I know masks are not popular, but all the CDC rules are made up by all these people that are much smarter than I'll ever be in my lifetime throughout this world. And each one of them tell us these guidelines do help. They're not going to protect everybody. They're not going to stop all of the spread of the COVID. But if we can slow it down to where we can just save one more life, one more person from being sick, we continue to lose people every day in our community from this. Our city has been touched so hard by this personally, and each family I know on this council has been touched by someone in your family. Possibly, hopefully, they did not lose their life, but they, have been very sick, come close to losing their lives. I've had several friends to pass. I've had several friends to have it and be in serious shape. And I've got 2 or 3 friends that have it right now. And I could be the next one. And I wear my mask. I practice social distancing, and I've had 1 vaccination shot. That does not make me immune from it by any reason. So I don't need to think that you know, I'm beyond it. I need to do the same thing that I'm asking everyone else to do. But let's please win this struggle together, win this struggle as all humanity is throughout this whole world. And let's try to get a handle on this. It's been a year. Nobody knows about it. Nobody knows what's causing it really. Nobody knows how to stop it. But let's all do our part. Let's just be mindful of others. Even if you don't want to wear a mask yourself, get your vaccination. Be mindful of others that do. And let's just, as the mayor says, let's be servants to each other around us. Let's lift up each other. Let's support each other. But mostly, let's continue to pray for each other and be each other's guardian angel, so to speak. I know that sounds corny, but that's what we are for each other. We just got to do that for each other. We have to be mindful of the other person around us. And we should do that every day. Once this COVID is over, we should continue the same lifestyle that we care and love each other. That's what I got to say. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Bailey. Anyone else? Anything? Okay.
Yeah, Mayor, I concur with Councilman Bailey has already stated. I concur with all of that. I've listened very diligently, and he stated some powerful word. And I'd just like to say this, as I said on the last council meeting, you know, it's all about love and respect each one another. And as the mayor always would say, we are a team, and we should respect each other as a team member. And speaking of team, Mayor, I'd like to get a shout out to the young man, I think it's Rocher. We realized that many star athletes have went through Central and graduated, went on, but he had the great opportunity probably of his life to play in a Super Bowl. And we are proud that he came from Central High School, Phenix City. And you know, I looked at the write-up they had on him and stuff, and the thing that they had. I mean, we are very proud of him, and this is something that we all should be proud of. All our kids that have went through Central and advanced into the sports arena. I had the opportunity to meet this young man back there in 2011. He was, as a matter of fact, he was a friend of my granddaughter, Bria, and I had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times. But he went on to do something that, as the mayor stated, many other would like to do, but have not had, had the ability to do. And we're very proud of him. And I want to say a shout out to his family, his mother, his wife, and whatever. Keep up the good work, and we're very proud of you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Day. All right. There's no other count, Mr. Hunter. Anything you want to add or take away?
Just want to say one thing. Thanks to everybody. And something I want to say about some things that we, I guess, in the community and all around that, with this month being Black History Month, I guess I was thinking about some things the other night and thinking about even being here, sitting in the position I'm in and dealing with people and dealing with diversity. One person I always admired that was born not too far from here was Vernon Jordan. Vernon Jordan is a very successful business executive in corporate America. But before then, he was a civil rights leader and he was the president of Urban League, took over for Whitney Young back years ago. And what the main fight was employment discrimination, making sure people had a fair chance no matter what race you was or what gender you was. They fought for these rights, and with something that started years ago. And I'm saying these things because I had to think about it. With him being an African-American and being a person that, like I say, he was a great attorney and still is. He continues to work and he'll be turning 86 this year. But in his struggles and his fights for equality in 1980 in May, I'll never forget it. He was shot by a sniper and almost died. And fortunately, he's still living today. And saying that during those same times in 1980s, I could look here and I tell people we should pray a lot and should never give up on people because of a lot of things like that, as far as employment and trying to give people a fair playing field and give them an opportunity and a chance. Mark Anthony, that was our personnel manager here back in the 80s. I'll never forget, I was managing with Kmart and far as getting employed and trying to fulfill the dream I wanted. He was very encouraging when I came to the city of Phoenix City to try to be a fireman. He said, we have something in the police department, but you would have to wait trying to get in the fire department. But anyway, going through all of that, he worked with me. And at the time when he approached me again on my job, he gave me the opportunity to come and he spoke clearly to me. I had to knock down some doors. I had to do well and do good. Now, at this point in time, I feel like it was a joint effort in people like Vernon Jordan doing the work that he was doing, and with Mark Anthony, that was our personnel director here at the time, and trying to give me an opportunity to do it and still being able to do it today. And I just think a lot of people should take time to get to know each other and open up doors and venues and avenues to be able to respect each other, because that day that he was out there shopping and reminded me to come back and try again was John Franklin was city manager at that time, and they was very close with each other. They was always going places together. But between the efforts of a lot of people, I'm standing on the shoulders of a lot of good people and thinking about the fight and the struggles that people went through. Anybody that's knowing the history should all want to do an outstanding job or try their best, put forth effort every day to try to do a good job, because a lot of people put their life on the line to make sure that we have a decent and good life today. And we should educate our kids on that too, to make sure they understand where we come from in America and what's going on in America today. The more you know about history, the more you can understand about the plight that we're in now. And I'd just like to thank those people, still thank the city of Phoenix City for opening up its eyes and giving opportunity, because as we talked earlier about taxpayers, people don't understand the history of how that worked. Everybody that buys something in this city and live in this city is the taxpayer of this city. Okay, city workers are paid by taxpayers with tax money. But can you imagine if you're a taxpayer or your family is a taxpayer, but my uncle couldn't even put in an application to work at the fire department and police department? Now, it's a lot of things that had to change in America, and a lot of people don't like hearing history. They don't like taking time. Some people don't even believe history and what went on, but it's some things that, even looking at this city and being around this city, I've seen a lot of change and a lot of doors open up for people. And if I wasn't that way and didn't accept that, I couldn't be the manager that I am, in dealing with people. You would do things one-sided instead of giving all people opportunity. And I thank you for that. Appreciate it, man.
Mr. Hunter, and let me just say this and close us out. This morning we all said we have an opportunity. And each and every day that we are awakened by grace, it's an opportunity. And we should not waste those opportunities for making a difference. But I also want to say this, is that we all need to be thankful that we live in a country that has had some things that happened that was not kosher. But we do need to be thankful that we have a chance in this country to revamp our history. Every one of us going to leave a history, whether it's good or bad. We're going to leave a history. But if we are still here, the history that we once had that wasn't good, we need to revamp it. And that's what this month is for African American, Negroes, Blacks, whatever you may call it, is that we have a chance to revamp the history that will continue to make this the best country that we live in. And so we all need to be grateful for the opportunities that we have to revamp things in our lives in the past, to be able to do it, to make things wholesome, to make things right for other people after us. So with that said, I would like to thank this council. I'd like to thank the department head and all the employees of Phoenix City, and certainly like to thank the citizens. Let's continue to have an open heart, and let's continue to realize that each day we have a chance to wake up, that we have been bestowed an opportunity to do something that can really make a difference. So with that said, we thank you all. May God continue to bless us all in this city. And you all continue to have a great rest of